Well, I'm expecting a massive inflow of comments in the section down below because Elon Musk has just had his pay packet reinstated. I'm Dave. Welcome to Dave Takes It On. So we're going to have a look into Elon Musk and his pay packet. 56 billion. Yeah, okay, it's almost beyond speech. But let's have a look at it, and I'm not going to justify it. It's not the purpose of this video. Purpose of this video is to see what just happened in the legal side of this pay packet. So, for all of this, we've got to go back a long time. And this was a time when Tesla wasn't profitable. They hadn't released very many cars, if any. And it was all just starting. And Elon Musk, he's a multi-billionaire already. He had at the time probably about 20 billion in the bank, having just sold a variety of things like PayPal. But he took over Tesla and he was offered a pay packet. Now, it wasn't a salary. It's very unusual in the corporate world, but he was offered no money whatsoever in terms of a salary. And I don't see any other CEOs, directors or anyone working for that. And he was told if that the company reached certain targets, this is growth targets to do with the growth of the company, the profitability, income and everything else, then he would get a lump sum to cover those last 10 years. And it's very unusual in the industry, but he didn't have any need for money at that time. He also had a lot of other interests that were bringing in money. So this was actually a good deal. At the time it was done, the company was worth about 54 billion, and the growth target they set him was 650 billion. That's a 10x growth rate over a 10-year period. Absolutely amazing. Nobody really expected him to do it. But he went and beat it. This was 56 billion in share options. Now, share options simply means we will guarantee that you can buy shares at this price, let's say $1. And the deal is that if the share's value has crashed down to 56 cents, the dollar offer is absolutely worthless. You may as well. Why would you buy shares at $1 each when you could buy them on the open market for 50 cents? So this was a double thing. First of all, it wasn't a salary, it was a share option. And secondly, it required that the shares were worth more in the future than they were worth when they were offered. And way back then, the shares were virtually worthless. And so if he could get the company up to 650 billion, then the shares would be worth an awful lot more. So this offer to be able to buy the shares at the price they were 10 years ago would suddenly become very, very valuable. It might, for example, if the share, in this silly example, shares were originally $1 each back in 10 years ago, but if they were now worth $10 each, it would mean that he could buy this number of shares at $1 each, and he would then have an immediate return on his money. He'd be able to buy shares that were worth $10 each. So that's the deal. Most other CEOs wouldn't have taken it, but for Elon it was the challenge. So anyway, single shareholder now has decided to challenge that package. He wasn't happy with it. Now, a lot of people make a lot about the fact that he only had about 10 shares. I've got more than that. But that's not the point. Every single shareholder has a say in what the company does, because Tesla is not owned by Elon Musk. Tesla is owned by the shareholders, and the shareholders appoint Elon Musk and others to their positions, and the shareholders in law set the salaries, bonuses and everything else for the company, for the directors and the CEOs, and they also keep an eye on the direction the company's going in. And they can vote out a director or CEO at any time they choose. And we've seen a number of CEOs changing hands recently. Ford, Jim Foley's only been there a very, very short number of years. He can be voted out next week. Same with Mary Barra. Anyway, So this single individual decided he'd go to court because the company originally was founded in Delaware. Just seems to be the centre where a lot of companies are founded. Then he went to court there, and he argued that it wasn't fair, that the shareholders were all beholden to Elon. By voting this deal, they needed Elon to actually achieve it so that they would make money from it, and therefore Elon was controlling the shareholders who were making this deal for him. This individual also claimed that Elon did not fully inform the investors beforehand. And that's a strange one, because it was investors who decided what Elon was going to get. Now, whether Elon had told them before the meeting that's what he wanted or whatever, but the shareholders voted for this package in the meeting. Therefore, they must have known that was what they were voting for. It's strange. Anyway, cut a long story short, the judge, she decided that he was right. He had controlled the board, didn't fully inform the investors, and besides which, a $56 billion pay packet was totally ridiculous. Now, when she was challenged by the Tesla defence lawyers, well, what is a fair salary? She had no idea whatsoever. Her answer was, I don't know, but this isn't fair. And you suddenly think, hang on a minute, how can you say it's not fair if you don't know what fair is? When asked if you could come up with a figure, she couldn't. So this is a very strange one. This seems very political or power grabbing. I don't know what it was. But anyway, she passed the ruling which said, yeah, you've got to strike that pay packet. You can't pay him. To me, if you're going to go to court, the time you go to court is when he's awarded this, you challenge it and say, I don't think he's worth that much. I think the shareholders got it wrong. One individual decided that now, having been offered this and it been achieved it and hit all the targets and exceeded them, this individual thought now's the time to challenge it. So anyhow, what Tesla did was very simple. They just moved the company registration away from Delaware and into Texas, which is where the head office is, where SpaceX is, where everything is, Giga Texas, everything. So they moved into Texas. It doesn't cancel the court ruling, because at the time they were registered in Delaware. So they moved, they started a load of legal challenges, but this is going to take about 5 or 10 years to go through the courts. So in the meantime, what Tesla did, very simple, they said, right, we're now in Texas, we're now going to have a shareholders meetings, and we're going to put the same question to the shareholders, me as well, as to whether this is a good deal. Because that one's been struck, there isn't a deal at the moment, so should we just re-vote on this existing deal? So they've been out to all the shareholders, and the shareholders are some like me, just got a handful of shares, others with several thousand shares, some big institutions which have funds with Tesla shares in them. And they went to everyone and they said, this same deal, we're going to vote on it again. You've got a totally free vote, Elon's not involved, just go and vote again. So over the last few weeks, I've been getting bombarded with things about, oh, you should vote yes, you should vote no, whatever, and people having their opinion, which is absolutely fine, as long as you declare you're a shareholder and this is a decision that will benefit you. You can say what you want. I voted a particular way, not even going to go into that, but what it means is that there was a totally free and fair vote. And it overwhelmingly said yes. It was the right decision back then. It's the right decision now. The shares that we owned back then were worthless. That, cents in the dollar. They were virtually worthless. Now they're up at $200, $300 a share. The rise in the value of the shares has been really quite dramatic. So all of these original shareholders now sitting on a much bigger fund than they had when they did the original vote. But overwhelmingly, everyone just said, yeah, he deserves it. He took the company up from nothing. It was virtually bankrupt at the time. This is around about the time of the when he got the money at that time of the company going bust, 2017, Tesla almost went bust. Right about the time of this deal, Tesla was on the point of going bust. And great move. So anyhow, so they've just voted. So Elon's happy. He's now going to get his shares. Unfortunately, the value of the company has dropped slightly since then. So it was originally, when he started, worth about 50 billion. It went up to 650 billion, and he got his bonus. Recently, it's dropped a little bit, but that's the beauty of Tesla shares. They can go up or down 50% in a matter of weeks or months. And as an investor, that's all I look for. A bit of excitement. I don't want a share that does 6% a year for the rest of my life. May as well chuck it in the bank. I'd rather invest in a company, personally, that actually you could double, treble, quadruple your money, or you could lose 3/4 of it. It's a gamble. So I only ever invest money I can afford to lose. That's why I've only got a few shares. Anyway, so there we are. That's where we are at the moment. Now, my argument is not the amount. The amount I think is obscene. However, it's the principle of it. That if, take it back to you on a personal level, if you went to work for a company and the company said, we're going to pay you a really, really, really small basic wage, but if you work with us for the whole of the year and you hit these specific targets, the end of the year, we will give you a massive bonus, which will make you one of the best paid employees in the company. And you go, oh, okay, get your head down, work everything and do everything you can to make the company successful. End of the year, you go to your boss and say, I've done it all, can I have my bonus? And they go, no, we've changed our mind. You would be furious. You've just worked for a year for nothing at all. And someone's now just suddenly decided you can't have it. The bonus we promised you, what you worked hard to try and achieve, has just been taken away. So that's my argument. I do not believe it's right for a court to be able to come in at the last minute, after the deal's been negotiated, after everyone's agreed to it, after it's been worked through and achieved, for a court to then come in and say, actually, that decision you made 10 years ago is absolutely invalid. Shouldn't do it. So that's my argument. Now, if anyone wants my opinion on the CEO pay, absolutely ludicrous, obscene. How anyone can have billions in the bank is absolutely crazy. To me, this is money laundering. That yes, there should be bonuses, there should be amazingly generous bonuses, but there ought to be conditions attached to that bonus in that you have to reinvest it or spend it or something. Otherwise, it's money laundering. You're just taking money out of the system, sticking it in your bank. You will then undoubtedly, and I'm not accusing anyone CEO of doing this, but undoubtedly a lot of CEOs will then just appoint the best lawyers they can find and find a way of stopping that being taxed either as income or as inheritance tax when they die and it's passed on to their kids. This is obscene. That money is being taken out of the economy. And if you look at companies like Google, like Meta, as it's called nowadays, Apple, Tesla, loads of others, multi-billionaires, and between them, they have trillions sat in their bank doing nothing other than making them appear on the top 10 list of the wealthiest people. Most of them have got private jets. Most of them have got luxury yachts costing $200-400 million. And some of them, I'm not going to name them, but one that I know of, I'm sure some others, have actually got more than one yacht. One of them claimed, and this was a British billionaire, claimed that he had one yacht for his guests and another yacht for their luggage and staff and everything else. And that yacht followed. This is just absolute lunacy, but it should be illegal. That money should be back into the economy, buying companies, launching companies, making products, investing in things. It should be put to use, not tucked away in someone's bank. Anyway, so there we go. I support the vote that was made to reinstate Elon's 56 billion share option pay package, call it what you will. I do not support the amount of money that is paid to CEOs of modern corporations, many of which don't actually make a product. Anyway, that's it for now. Thanks very much for watching. If you've enjoyed it, please click the like button. If you want to see more, please subscribe. And if you click the notification bell, we will notify you every time we launch a new video. I'm Dave.